was deflating her body, I sort of put a crease down the middle of her belly. And now I'm sucking the last little air out of her, and then as she deflates, while there's still air in the chambers and stuff, I sort of get the material to lay flat and fall into its own silhouette. So now she's essentially laying down as flat as she possibly can be. And now I want to sort of stretch her out as much as possible. Not like actually stretch her out, but just get her to lay as flat as possible.
Right.
And now, the number one piece of advice I can really give anybody about folding these guys, and this was advice I only got recently, but I had been doing for some time, is that this shape, any pool toy shape, is basically unfoldable. You can't fold that. You need to make them into a foldable shape before you can fold them. And so you want to make them into like a square or a rectangular type shape. And so now that I have her laid flat, I'm going to start to bring part of her extremities in. And I try to start with the head first because the head has the eyes, and that way that will protect the head and the eyes.
That's the part with a lot of life. That's the part that shows the life of the pool toy, right?
Yes, the eyes. The eyes are huge. That's why designers always recommend when somebody's doing a design, they can do the patterning and everything else as a bundle, but the eyes should always have their own separate vector, because that's where you're going to get the most detail and scalability and whatnot. And so I'm also trying to unfold little creases like that amongst her. But again, I put that crease down the middle of her belly to keep her laying as flat as possible. And so that crease I do want there, and I want to be just one crease, not a bunch of them.
Not a bunch of little tiny corners. Like,
yeah.
Not a bunch of tiny corners.
Exactly.
You're folding it out, pulling out any little corners.
Yep.
So that those spots don't get weak over time, right?
Yes, and they don't pinch or tear or rub up against things. And so now that I have her head folded in, I'm going to fold both of her fins in nice and flat like that.
Now she's becoming square. You're making her into a square.
Yes, I am.
Ripple. Ripple.
And
I need to refold Coco.
I also always try to keep their valves exposed, if I can, at least until the last possible second. The reason being is sometimes you'll stir up air pockets as you fold. So with each fold, her body is getting remarkably more foldable.
Ah.
So, getting close to square mode.
So, I'm going to go home and fold and refold Coco immediately.
Well, I'm going to give you a piece of advice that might throw you for a loop.
Don't refold it.
Well, don't refold her. What you want to do is reinflate her first. Do it in the warmest room of the house. Once she's inflated, then you're going to want to lay her into a position that's going to be the easiest to work with. And at that point, then you can deflate her and refold her. But see, I basically made her into a square.
That's how you fold them so perfectly. I always wondered.
The trick that I throw people for a loop with is that I take these toys to the beach a lot. So a lot of times when people see me take them to the beach and fold up at the end, I'm just bundling them up and throwing them into the bin because they're going to come back out tomorrow or the next day or the next weekend.
But right now you're not so sure about that.
Exactly. This is the last beach day of the year. Now I'm taking another second here.
How do you know that it's the last one?
Likely. Look at that.
Perfection. Perfectly beat up.